Okay, welcome back to another episode of Monotony, but mostly madness. I think technically this is episode 5, but I very well could be wrong. Today I got a real special guest to the left of me, right of me, however this is going to be portrayed. This is my buddy Jaden. I've known Jaden for an awful long time. He's a pretty rad cat, and he was kind enough to want to hop on tonight and discuss a whole bunch of bullshit. So let's give a warm round of applause to Mr. Nail here. Mr. Nail, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on here tonight, Cody. Busy day today. Did a bunch of paperwork here and just finished up volleyball practice.
So now, are you back in Saskatchewan? Or are you still?
I'm in Lethbridge.
Oh, you're in
I'm
Lethbridge.
at Lethbridge full time. Left Saskatchewan in I guess May 1st at about 4 o'clock in the morning and went back once for work. So
Nice, nice. Well, how's the Windy City?
it hasn't been as windy as everyone said it was gonna be. Maybe it's just I put on a couple of pounds since I was little. I haven't blown away yet, but we got our garbage bins hidden away from the wind so that we don't have to chase them down the street. And well, if you knew me and how good I run, it would have been quite a scene to watch me try and run down a garbage can or recycling bin down the middle of the street here.
Man, every time I start talking about playing football, one thing that always comes to mind is I remember it was a jamboree or something, and it was a Medicine Hat. And I remember because you were playing kicker because it was going to be the position with the least amount of contact.
Yeah.
And I remember, I can't even remember what the play was exactly, but I remember I don't know if it hit the uprights or they blocked it or what, but they started going the other way. And I still remember you taking after the kid with the ball, and the sideline just went dead silence. Like, no, Jaden, no.
You
We're
can't do
so worried
that.
you're gonna get fucking kicked in the head or some shit. We're like, we can't let this happen. What are we gonna do? Blow it dead?
That was a kickoff, I think, against Med Hat. I think we were playing McCoy,
Yeah,
and somehow I got lucky enough and I just kind of tripped the guy.
yeah.
I was by no means supposed to have any contact. I mean, a couple of concussions and a brain bleed later. Still, I guess it affects me. My words are kind of tough to come out of the mouth, but
Yeah.
I remember I got in a lot of trouble from a few parents that night that kind of knew my history, and they weren't very happy with me.
No, it's like I said, it's one of the most prominent memories, and I don't know why that one specifically, but I just remember just everybody was just like, "Oh no, Jade, no, Jade, don't do it," and then off you went, and we're like, "Well, fuck, it's too late to stop him now." So
Well, and then when we were playing Calgary, I think we were playing Forest Lawn,
the Battle of the Titans,
and yeah, Battle of the Titans, the Tenacity Cup.
yeah,
I remember I snuck on the field for a defensive series, and I made out okay. I'm not sure if my mother ever found out about it. She never got after me for it, but I know I had some texts from some parents that were pretty concerned. Like, what are you doing? I saw you. Did you think we weren't going to see you out there? Blah blah blah. I was like, oh, I got away with it. You guys didn't come drag me off the field, so
well, let's just hope Wendy never watches this and she never has to find out.
she'll get over it. She can't get mad at me for something that happened four
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 years
years
ago,
ago.
yeah, four or
Oh,
5 years
4 years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, fuck, what a time, man. I were you there when we went to? Was it Lloyd that we went to? Where they built the Titan Mobile to go through the Tim Hortons drive-through.
No, I wasn't there. That was probably grade 11, and
Man,
I was on a complete hiatus, or it would have been grade 10, and I was too busy locked in a dark room,
I
sleeping 16 hours a day.
I think it was grade 12. It might have been because I know you kind of joined in a little bit later on, and it might have been like Jamboree, like it might have been preseason sort of deal.
Okay.
And I just remember like, fuck, there was been about 5 or 6 of them, and they all lined up side by side, and they fucking drove into the Tim Hortons drive-through because the fucking lineup inside was like 25, 30 people. And they're standing there and they like pull up and everybody like does that. I think I have it on video. I'll see if I do and I'll throw it up here. But yeah, then they're like, if you don't have a vehicle, you got to get out of the drive-through. Like this is an insurance nightmare. And then
Yeah,
that was the end of the Titan Mobile. But and there's
I
some
remember
crazy
seeing video of
times.
it. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it was quite the scene. Those boys were having fun rolling with it, living their best high school football life. Kind of like a scene out of Friday Night Lights
Yeah,
almost.
for sure.
based out of Drumheller instead of Permian.
That's right. Well, I think we get started here. And I want to start off with this one. So, Jaden can speak a little bit more himself, but Jaden is a farmer who has grown up around the agricultural industry his entire life. And he went to school for
Agronomy. I took a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, majored in agronomy, and minored in agribusiness out of the U of S in Saskatoon.
There we go. So if anybody's going to have an interesting take on this, it will be Jaden. So I've kind of just been thinking about this between that whole debate between whether family farms or corporate farms are the way of the future. But I started thinking about so in the 80s, as I'm sure you know, the U.S. put a subsidy on farmers growing corn, basically to for like high fructose corn syrup and other corn related products. So obviously there's states where one of their only exports is corn. So there's this ever waging war between enviro warriors and politicians in forestry. Let's say forestry, because that's probably going to be the best way to describe it. Could you see a potential for the Canadian government or any government putting a subsidy on a crop like hemp that can be used in manufacturing so many different things, textiles and papers and all that?
I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I think one of the biggest challenges is hemp's such a pain in the ass to combine.
Yeah.
If you get it wrapped around your rotors, your combine's going up pretty quick. I've talked to guys that have grown it. They got to blow the combine off every pass. So like every quarter mile, half mile, however long that their pass is in the field, you got to actually take a leaf blower out and blow it out. And I guess another good challenge that we'd have is a lot of people that don't know it's hemp. They're going to think it's a little bit of a different plant that's going to give them a little bit of a different experience. And
Yeah.
they're going to be out there picking it like left, right, and center, like it's going out of style. But I think if you just kind of put a sign up there, this will not get you high.
Yeah.
You will die from smoke inhalation before you get any sort of buzz off this stuff. Maybe that'd deter people, but
Yeah.
the way society is going, everyone's getting so stupid.
Yeah.
No one seems to have any common sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if people still tried it to see how much they could smoke.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like the whole thing that got me thinking about that is actually I'd seen a YouTube video, and it was about the difference between Mexican Coke and American Coke. Really interesting video. I'll drop a link down below for if anybody wants to watch it. But basically, back in the day, the big difference was that Mexican Coke was actually still using cane sugar, but the government had put in trade stipulations on bringing in sugar. So then that's when subsidies started on corn and high fructose corn syrup. And I just was thinking about that because I remember being in like Hawaii, and in Hawaii, I'm sure other, more uppity hipster-esque places like probably LA and shit like that. There's a lot of stores that all they sell is hemp products. And I just think with the way that like I said, the eco warriors are starting to wage on everything, that might be a happy medium for everybody.
It might not be the worst thing in the world, and honestly, I could see it happening one day down the line as we kind of go towards more green and renewable as much as we can, and try to keep our forestry and our logging down and our carbon footprint down. But I think I'd see it in canola first, because
Really,
canola's got so many different uses. Like with canola meal, people use it for cattle feed, and canola oil, different sprays, and even biodiesels. There's potential to make biodiesel out of the canola too, right? So
yeah.
it could come from canola before hemp, but I wouldn't be surprised to one day see a subsidy come towards the hemp. And who knows, maybe that'll be something that you kind of have to apply for a special permit. I don't know. I can't predict the future.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I thought the Kraken would have picked up Carey Price in a whole dream, and here we are. They picked up really no one. Victor Vitek signed Grubauer and then sent Vitek back for a draft pick. So,
I mean, that was kind of like, I remember when the Kraken, like when the list first came out, or that it was announced that Carey Price was going to be left unprotected. There was a lot of people that were seeing if there was going to be a side deal between Bergevin and fucking Ronnie Boy. Yeah,
Ron
Ron Francis. Yeah. As to whether or not they could take on Price and then eat half the salary and trade him back. And the NHL put a fucking veto to that pretty quick. But I think in that instance, the biggest thing is his age and then obviously the injury problems. But even then, one thing that I can say is, I mean, I wasn't a big believer in the Knights before their first season. So obviously it was a surprise when they made it to the Cup final. But you look at that Knights roster with guys like James Neal and stuff; they have a hell of a lot more star power than Seattle does.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think Seattle still makes playoffs. I think they're a first round exit,
They're in a weak
but
division.
I think they're gonna make it.
Like, I mean, you got to
You
think.
they're gonna win the division?
I don't think they're going to win. I think if you look at the Pacific Division now, like with Arizona gone, you've got Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Seattle, LA, San Jose, and Anaheim.
Yeah,
Well, San Jose and Anaheim are both going to be bottom feeders. LA potentially, they made enough moves and they have the prospect depth and some key older veterans that it's possible that they make it as a wild card. But when you're jockeying for position with, let's say that the top, three, before we'll go top three teams are really going to be the Canadian teams. Just I think based sheer on, I can't even say top three. Top two teams are going to be your Canadian teams just based purely on skill. And I think that's Edmonton, that's Vancouver.
yeah.
But also Vancouver is kind of, they're dragging their ass with RFA deals with Hughes and Pedersen. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I think the Pacific is definitely going to be the weakest division in the NHL. You look at the Central and the Metro and the other Eastern one. But Pacific has no juggernaut teams. I mean, no Pacific
Yeah,
team made it past the first round last year. Actually, the only Pacific team that made it, uh, like, yeah, the only Pacific team that made it was Edmonton. They got swept.
yeah.
So
So I don't know. It's a tough few years to be a Sharks fan. It has sucked. When there's what was there 4 teams that didn't make playoffs
yeah,
in the COVID season,
yeah, it was
and
something
Sharks
like
were
that.
one of them. And
Well, no, I think it was.
chance
Wasn't it 16 teams or 17 teams?
there was a lot of teams. There was like 24 teams that made it.
Was it 24? Actually, I think you're
I
right.
think I think it was 24. 6 teams didn't make the 7 teams didn't make the cut because there's
Yep.
31 teams.
Yeah.
And it would have been a great year to have a
Yeah.
fourth overall draft pick or whatever it was that the Sharks were supposed to have. But no, Eric Band-Aid Carlson kind of took that away from us.
They like, is Doug Wilson ever going to get fired, or is he just going to die as general manager of the San Jose Sharks?
He's going to retire before he gets fired, I think. And he might not retire until the day he dies. Like,
Yeah.
he was doing so good, but just he's got too much money locked up in his back end.
Yeah. Well, not even
Burn.
his back end. It's just like the older guys. Like, I think
Yeah.
when they let Pavelski walk and signed Carlson, I think that was really the one of the biggest turning points for that team.
Well, and then we have Vander Kane.
Yeah, what a fucking plug. Fuck that guy.
I do not like when he wants to play, he can play, but really makes you wonder, was he betting against the Sharks?
Yeah, and I mean, as of right now, it's a lot of he said, she said, but I don't know. You look at his past. I mean, one of the big things that come to mind for me when I think about Evander Kane was the whole Dustin Buffalo and Evander Kane throwing his sweatsuit in the shower when he was playing in Winnipeg.
Yeah, but like the guy's a head case. There's no two ways about it. And like I would hate to play against him.
Yeah.
I would hate it. But I don't know how much I'd want him on my team, just kind of like a locker room cancer. Like,
Well, yeah, and I mean, like you look at guys like Timo Meyer and Tomas Hertl, like they want out. They're like, we're not going to play with this asshole. I mean, you
yeah,
can't
exactly.
blame him. I mean, guy's a prick.
And if we lose Hurdle and Meyer, We don't have much more we can give. Like, we're gonna
No.
be fucked.
Well, and it's like you have so much money locked up between Burns and Carlson and Vlasic and Couture that it's gonna be a long rebuild. It's like, yeah, because you're still gonna be okay enough to be okay, but you're not gonna be bad enough to tank.
Yeah, we're
And
not gonna.
there's no way to get rid of those contracts. They're fucked for life.
I had a hope and a prayer that Seattle would swing some sort of deal and take Carlson on. It was a long shot to say the least, and it didn't happen. I mean, even Burns's productivity kind of dropped off there, but I think it's just because I don't know. I think you just can't have him and Carlson on the same team. You can have them on the same power play. That's one hell of a power play
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
D. But he had two really offensive defensemen out there at the same time because they were putting them together for quite a bit.
yeah,
And then you're fucked. You got no one back. Like they're both great defensemen in their own set, but you just can't have them both together.
yeah. There's that old debate of should it be called, like, should the Norris Trophy go to the best defensive defenseman, and should there be another trophy like the Bobby Orr Trophy for most offensive defenseman? And I definitely think there should, because I don't think that Eric Carlson and I mean even Brent Burns when he won, they're both great offensive defensemen, but as far as being an actual defenseman go, there's a lot of defensive shortcomings that come at the expense of the offensive upside.
But if you look at Carlson when he was in Ottawa, he's the only reason that team made it as far as they did in the playoffs how many years ago, right? Like
Well, they were
he
one
was
shot away from making the final.
yeah, like he was doing it all. He was running the defense, he was running the offense. Like he deserved it that year, I think.
With
Like
a
he was
broken
doing
ankle too, right?
yeah, he was pickled.
Yeah.
And then like when Gio won it, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Gio deserved that as much as I wanted to see. There was a 66% chance that a Shark was walking home with the Norris Trophy that year.
Yeah.
And Gio came in there, and as much as I wanted to see a Shark win it, Gio deserved it. There is
Yeah.
no two about it. I would have been upset if Gio didn't win that.
That was one of the best years to be to be a Flames fan that I can remember in like recent history. Just because, I mean, there were, for most of the season, that top line of Monahan, Goudreau, and Lindholm was the most productive line in the NHL over Rantanen, McKinnon, and Landeskog. They had the most production. They were stellar. I mean, you look at Michael Backlund at playing second line, and I think it was still Backlund, Kachuk, and Frolik, like the 3M line, and it was just, they could go out there and they could pot, and they could go out there and they could shut anybody down, and then uh yeah, just to get fucking bounced in 5 by Colorado, that really sucked. um I was
Was
in
that
the
broke into the league?
Sorry.
Was that the year McCarr broke into the league? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
his first game was game 1 against the Flames.
And he had the cojones to go end to end
Yeah.
and hot it. Like,
Yeah, that's the same year that's because that was Juuso Valimaki's first year, or first games
yeah,
he played was in the playoffs, and he was the best player because everybody else disappeared. I mean, for fuck's sakes, they scratched James Neal in game 5 and fucking sat his ass up in the press box eating popcorn.
yeah.
I mean, first of all, fuck that man child. Get the fuck out of Calgary. I was so stoked when they signed him. I'm not even gonna fucking bullshit anybody. I have a fucking James Neal Flames jersey upstairs. I was so stoked. I was the first one in fucking line to buy one because I'm like, I love James Neal. Guy plays with an edge. He's not afraid to fucking throw the body, get in the corner, mix it up, throw him on the second line. However you had to do it, he was going to be productive. You look at the season he came off of with Vegas, was great, made the final. Season before with Nashville, great, made the final. Comes to Calgary, he's a fucking chubby piss baby. It's like, get out. And that Lucic for Neal swap, Lucic isn't going to put up the points, yes, and it's a lot of money to have tied up in a bottom 6 player. But guy gets out there every night and he does what he has to do. He knows what he has to do. He's a solid role player. He's not afraid to go out, fucking drop the mitts, drive some guy in the fucking boards. Doesn't matter. And we got a pick out of it. So, and
Honestly,
the Oilers bought out Neal. So,
Yeah, the Flames won that trade. Like, as much as Luch is not a great hockey player, well, a hell of a lot better than I ever will be or ever was, but
Oh yeah.
he is not he's not a today's NHL player. You
No.
could put him in like '04.
Yeah.
He'd be one hell of a guy to have on a team, but now the way that fighting's going out of the league so
Yeah.
quickly, it's few and far between now. Unless you're Ronaldo against Jujar Kara and you just sleep. But
But like
yeah, I don't know.
the thing is too, like you look at the 2011 Bruins run, when it was Lucic, Bergeron, and Pasternak. That line, or was it, did Lucic play with Pasternak or did he play with Krejci? Whoever he played with, he was good. But at that point, the game still hadn't sped up to the point that is now.
Yeah.
Because when you're three, like when a guy can take one stride and you're already four strides behind him, that's a problem.
Hmm.
But
You got a guy like McJesus out there that can just not even try and skate circles around half the league.
man, he could glide faster than probably 2/3 of the guys in the league.
It's ridiculous. The guy needs 3 strides and he's at full speed.
Like someone said to me, and they said, "You don't realize how fast guys like McDavid and McKinnon are until you see them live." And I thought, what a fucking load of horseshit. You can tell on TV that these guys are fast. And then I was in Edmonton for my first year, and I went and saw a Battle of Alberta.
After no goal.
Review, we have no goal.
What the fuck?
And when you can see an entire ice surface and the camera's not following somebody, and you can see a guy go fucking blue line to blue line like that, it's like, okay, fuck, he is faster in person. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Same with McKinnon. They're fucking burners.
Mm-hmm.
But
could you imagine having to defend that?
No, fuck no. No, like there's no way, just the stuff that especially McDavid does with like stick work, there's no way to defend them but honestly, picking your angle right and cutting them off. But even then, the passes they're making, the shots they're taking, like you just got to close your eyes and pray to God, really.
You got to adjust your angle like so often too, because you want to take him wide.
Yeah.
You want to have a bigger angle because you know he's going to be coming in hard. But he knows that you're going to be taking that angle, so you're going to be halfway there, and he's just going to change
Yeah.
his direction like that, and
Yeah.
he's in front of the net alone, and just embarrassing any goalie that's in the net.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a hockey fan, that's for sure though. Just to watch it. I mean, I don't know if you saw the news today, but Crosby's out for 6 weeks.
Oh,
Wrist surgery.
oh
So,
shit.
the thing is, like, can you just imagine Canada's Olympic team next year?
It shouldn't even be close.
No, it's not even gonna, like, maybe the States will put up a fight, but I don't think
Russia always
even
comes.
then. But who does Russia have at center?
It's a good point.
Evgeny Malkin is really the only elite NHL center because
And he's got
Kuznetsov has a ban, or he's banned from Olympics and IIHF since there was that video of him railing coke. He can't play. He's on a 5-year ban. So it's basically Malkin to be our number one center, and then you're gonna have guys from the K. So
yeah,
you'll
you
have the wingers, but
yeah,
but like, I mean, fuck, your first line, it just, I don't even know who you'd put on the other wing. It doesn't fucking matter who you'd put on the other wing. But if you had McDavid at center and McKinnon on your wing, whew, fucking inject that shit into my blood.
yeah,
Like, that'd
and then
just be insane.
Throw guys like Hughes and McCarr on the point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Canada should be unreal.
Yeah, and you look at goalies too. I mean, Carey Price, I think, is still got to be your go-to guy. Just 2014 was really his coming of age, I think, as far as a goalie was, because he was good before they went to the Olympics, but when he came back, he was on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got another question here for you. So I know that this one really bothers me. So like like when you put a toilet paper roll on,
Yeah.
and it should be going forward, but sometimes people put it on and it goes backwards. I feel like that should be considered a crime against humanity. How do you feel about that?
I guess when it comes to toilet paper, I'm kind of amphibious. It doesn't matter. I'm not. It can go either way for me. As long as there's toilet paper and I don't have to be like cutting the roll up and hoping to get out of it what I can get out of it, or do a nice little clean out with the hands and wash them real good after that. Like if there's toilet paper, I'm happy. I don't care what way it's going.
Oh, like I seen it at work the other day, and I was just like, I got so mad. I was fucking fuming. I was furious. I walked out of there, fucking slammed the door. I'm like, who the fuck does that? Like, oh,
God,
just
fucking damn it, Dave.
yeah, fucking Dave. God damn it. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like where do you draw the line? This is insanity. Like just fucking bullshit.
I think you draw the line at when they leave like half a roll, like half of a round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
when
where you get
draw
to the bottom and it's you get one and then you get the doubled over because it's wrapped itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck those. If you put your fucking toilet paper on backwards or you leave a fucking half a square, you're an asshole.
There's no other way to put it. And speaking of which, do you stand or sit when you wipe? We had a good debate in our house here. Are you a stander or a sitter?
I'm not a sitter. That just seems unhygienic.
That just seems like it'd be so hard to get a real good clean in there, you know?
It's yeah, no. Yeah, if you do that, you're an asshole too.
Yeah, literally.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? That's a debate I had with someone the other day.
Technically it is.
That's what I said. I said it is a piece of meat and sauce, sometimes greenery and maybe cheese inside a bun. It's no different than a hoagie, which is a sandwich. A hoagie bun is the same as a hot dog bun. It's just for a hot dog. But you can make a hoagie on a hot dog bun. And you can make a hot dog bun on a hoagie bun. So, I mean,
We could classify sandwiches.
Yeah.
And hot dogs are in its own class. Hot dogs and smokies.
Yeah.
Could be in their own class there. And then you got your typical like ham and cheese sandwiches or your grilled cheese, roast beef, or whatever, really.
Yeah. Subs and hoagies, which you could do like subs and hoagies and then subcategorize hot dogs and smokies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like okay, so if you're telling me a hot dog isn't a sandwich, but if you order a meatball sub at Subway, that's a fucking sandwich. It's the same fucking shit, man.
No, absolutely.
Same shit.
I don't know how people don't see it that way. And then like you could have your your burgers.
Yeah.
You could have that in a category, and then a subcategory to like your pulled pork and pulled chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like you got your salad sandwiches, your chicken salad, your tuna salad, your turkey salad, your egg salads.
Yeah.
Hot dogs are sandwiches.
Yeah. Okay, what about okay, this one was a hot button topic for a while, and it got me real heated. Is cereal soup?
Kind of. But the milk is your soup and the cereal's your crackers.
But no, that's not how I see it. So you can break your soups down. we're going deep dive here. You can break your soups down into different categories as well. So you have your broth-based soups like your chicken noodles and your beef and barley, or we have your cream-based soups like cream of mushroom, cream of broccoli, your chowders. And what do all the cream-based soups have in common? Milk or cream. That is your base with some sort of sustenance inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can also have soup du jour is soup of the day, but there's a French word for cold soup. So it's a thing. Cold soup is a thing. So you can have cold soup. So if you have a cold cream of Captain Crunch, it's a soup. I mean, it has to be a soup, right? Cereal has to be a soup.
Well, and oatmeal is just hot cereal.
Oatmeal.
And
What?
it could
Well, I think
be
it depends. Would be dependent on how you made your oatmeal.
probably normally for me out of a packet with some water.
Yeah, so that's how I would make it. So I don't know if I would classify that as a soup, but if you go like the whole like cream of oats where you actually like use milk and shit, like a fucking heathen, like who does that? We're not 80, man. You just need to simmer down.
You
Like,
could throw the milk in with your oatmeal because they say that one's bilingual too. You can use milk or water at
yeah, but it's not
half or
good. I
two-thirds
don't
the
know if
cup.
you ever
Don't
tried
remember.
it. You ever tried it?
I've never tried it. I don't like milk.
See, I thought one day, I normally have, I'm a big fan of dino eggs.
Those my
Oatmeal.
favorites and cream.
So I every once in a while, like for breakfast in the morning before work, if I have breakfast, it's normally like, two pieces of toast and peanut butter or oatmeal. And one day I woke up and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try this with milk today. So there I like, was reading on the packet and it's like, well, if you want to make it with milk, you can either boil it and mix it in, or you pour it in and then put it in the microwave. I did it. I grabbed a spoonful and I was stoked. I'm like, this is gonna be so good. And I was like, fucking took it to the garbage, fucking dumped it out. I'm like, I don't even fucking want to eat anything anymore. It fucking just rattled my cage. And I was like, this is fucking bullshit. But I mean, I think if you use that logic as far as, cream-based soups and cold soups, I think cereal has to be considered a soup.
Yeah, I would agree that cereal's a soup.
Yeah.
And back to the peanut butter thing.
Yeah.
A little out of left field here. Do you like Hawaiian pizza?
Okay, I don't like Hawaiian pizza, but I do like tropical chicken pizza, which is sort of
Okay.
along the same lines but different.
You get like the sweet and salty.
Yeah, because you get like you've had tropical chicken, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like mint, great tropical chicken.
Yeah, so the best part of tropical chicken is you get the nice combination between the chicken, the Alfredo sauce, and the pineapple. It's like a party in your mouth. But
So back to that.
sorry.
Have you tried pickles with peanut butter?
What?
Peanut butter and pickle toast is my all-time breakfast food. You get the sweet of the peanut butter and the salty garlic of the pickles. It's
Are we
delicious.
talking like a dill pickle or like a sweet
Dill
pickle?
pickle. Sweet pickles belong in the trash.
100%. If you eat Yum Yums, I'm looking at you, Dad. You're an asshole. You know what? I'm gonna try that. Side note, have you seen like there's a trend where people are putting mustard on watermelon?
Okay, that's wrong.
But
I'm not trying it. That's wrong.
But so I wasn't gonna try it either because I'm like this is fuckery and it's
Do you
not.
eat?
I have not tried it, but one of my neighbors down the street, who's quite the culinary man himself, tried it reluctantly because he wanted to just see how disgusting it was. And
Yeah.
he on his fucking word says that it is actually really good. So
Really?
I kind of want to try it just to see whether or not everybody, because it's just a mass conspiracy to fuck with everybody, or if it's actually good.
I don't know if I got the balls to try it. Like I draw that like peanut butter and pickles is delicious. I love watermelon. I don't want to ruin watermelon.
So my go-to food for lunch when I was in elementary school was jam and cheese sandwiches.
That's good.
It was just fucking bricks of like real sharp cheddar cheese and like blueberry jam, and I ate that like every day. That, or if we had banana bread in the house, I would have banana bread and cheese. And I tell people that, and they look at me like I'm a fucking monster. I'm like, you guys don't realize that jam and cheese is actually supremely underrated.
Well, do you like red pepper jelly?
I'm not a big pepper guy, but I have tried it, and it is not bad.
Red pepper jelly with some cream cheese on like a Ritz cracker.
Okay.
I love
See,
it.
I'm not a big cream cheese guy.
Neither am I,
Oh,
but it
it,
works.
it's not even the
Or with
taste.
brie.
It's not even the
It's the
taste. Ooh, I do have a brie baker upstairs. So, and I have some red pepper jelly in the fridge. I might have to try that.
red pepper jelly and brie on a Ritz cracker or a Triscuit. Delicious. You'll love it.
I'm writing this shit down.
Come to me for all your culinary needs.
Yeah, and on a side note, those little cheese things you get? They're like, I don't know, that big,
Mhm.
and they're wrapped in wax.
Yeah, like the Baby Bells.
Yeah, do you know what my mom called them when I was a kid that I didn't realize until like 5 years ago is not what they were called?
I've got no idea.
Kathy called them peekaboo cheese, and I honest to God thought that's what they were called. And I remember being out on a date and saying something about peekaboo cheese and just fucking embarrassing myself. Like my jockstrap was in the 5th row. Like,
It took that long to embarrass yourself talking about cheese, like it wasn't when you first showed up.
oh, it's not like we sat down and I'm like, so what are your thoughts on Gouda? Like, I'm not like a cheese connoisseur, man. I like a good cheese, but it wasn't my opening line. Like, I don't go up to chicks at the bar and like slide up and I'm like, hey, do you have a minute to talk about baked brie? Like,
Kind of like,
so
I've been trying to reach you to talk about your car's extended warranty.
yes, that is more my thing.
Do you have a minute to talk about peekaboo cheese?
That's right. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior peekaboo cheese? Man, one time, me and some buddies were at the bar, and I can't even remember how we got on the topic. And well, I think I remember. There was an absolute like rocket standing at the bar. So, of course,
This was in
is
Edmonton, probably. Hey,
I think it was. I honestly can't remember if it was in Edmonton or if it was at Yavs. It was one of those nights where I just remember bits and pieces of it.
yeah,
But one of the guys was like, "Man, like look at her. Like she's hey." And he's like, hey Cody." I'm like already fairly into one at this point. And they
Yeah.
go, we'll buy you a couple drinks if you go up and use your worst pickup line on her. And I was like, sounds like a fair deal. What's the word? There's two things that can happen here. One, I get her number. Two, I don't get her number. Either way, I get free drinks. So
Yeah.
to me, it was an utter win-win. It was not even a question, and I'd had enough booze circulating through my bloodstream that I was invincible. So I went up, and she's talking or whatever, and she kind of turns and looks at me. One of those like, "Fuck is this clown?" And
Yeah.
I was like, whack! Just got fucking dummied. And so I walk back and I sit down and I got a fucking 5-star on the side of my face. They're like, that went well, eh? And I was like, well, once again, either way I got drinks. So no, it didn't get me my drinks. Let's go.
I think I've only been slapped like 3 times. And honestly, I don't think that I've deserved any of them. Like I've spoke to the one girl that slapped me twice, and she said, "Yeah, I had no reason to slap you. I just kind of did out of instinct because someone else I know was always hitting on her, and like I wasn't even hitting on her or nothing. She just smacked me. I think I had one little chirp at her, and boom, see you later."
Yeah. Well, I don't know
So
what your thoughts are, but I would rather get fucking absolutely cronked in the nose by Dwayne the Rock Johnson than get slapped, because getting slapped just feels like such a like it's like ooh I don't like it. Like I will take a barrage of punches to the face and be like, yeah, I got punched, and then it's like get slapped once and it's like ooh I I never want to talk about that again.
it depends on the scenario. Like if you said or did something out of line and you deserved it, yeah,
Yeah.
you never want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the most recent time I got slapped, uh, met this girl at the bar, standing with my brother in Saskatoon, and she comes up and she introduces herself. And I was like, "Oh, I think, like, I know you. I think I met you before. You used to date so and so. I'll leave the names out of it.
Yeah.
And without even second thought, like, I was just like connecting dots as to how I know her and like seeing if I was on the right person. Boom! See
Yeah.
you later. Give me a real good slap. And I was kind of like, welcome back to Saskatoon, hey?
Did you have a Pilsner though? That's the real question.
I was not drinking Pilsner, Cody. I was fresh out of a relationship. I'm pretty sure I was on like a 3-day bender. I was not doing super hot, so I was probably on the rye. And the thing is, I don't get mean when I drink rye.
Me either. Actually, vodka's the booze that makes me angry.
Me
Rye
too.
mellows me right the fuck out.
Vodka is what gets me pissed off too.
Yep.
I guess it just brings out the Russian in me that I don't have. But
Same.
it's so weird because everyone's like, "Oh no, I can't drink rye. That corn liquor, it gets me. Like I get mean. It's what is it? It's IA. It's instant asshole juice,
Yep.
and I'm the complete opposite. Like rye
Yeah.
doesn't bother me.
Rye is like one of the few boozes. I'm big. I just drink a lot of beer. Honestly, that's pretty much all I drink.
Mhm.
But like beer, I get loud. I don't get obnoxious. I just get loud and very animated, and I laugh a lot. But also two beers. If I get two beers in me, I start slurring, and I don't know why. It's just I'm not drunk. I just start slurring. I think maybe I'm like mildly gluten intolerant, and my fucking tongue is swelling. I don't know,
You
but
could you could be allergic to the barley.
yeah. So it's like that. And then if I drink rye, like I'm just that person that's just sitting there and it's like I'm just happy to be anywhere. This is a good time. But then
Mhm.
vodka, like I have like more than one or two drinks with vodka in it, and I'm ready to fucking start scrapping.
Yeah, and oh, vodka, it's a dangerous game for me. Like I love it because like I love paralyzers. That's the only way that I'll drink milk
Yeah.
is paralyzers. And I could like most people, I can have 2 paralyzers and then I'm done. I'm so full.
Yeah.
I could drink paralyzers sun up to sundown. No,
Really?
yeah, I can just put them back and I'm fine. Everyone gets like everyone else, they get so sick after a while because you're putting like such a heavy drink, you're putting the heavy
Yeah.
milk and cream into you, but it doesn't bother me, which it should, but it doesn't.
Really?
And me and my one roommate when I was living in Saskatoon, I think I was coming back from reading week in November,
Yeah.
and we I got home, he was home, it was just the two of us home, and we started drinking paralyzers at about 2:30. Well, we were pickled, like slurring our words, stumbling over ourselves, not able to talk by about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because we were just drinking paralyzers heavy and they just kept getting stiffer and stiffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone else makes paralyzers the complete opposite of me, it seems.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like your vodka Kahlua
Yeah.
and then milk and then Coke. No, I make a milk and then Coke.
Yeah.
Everyone else in my house made them your vodka and Kahlua, your Coke, and then your milk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make them the exact same way as them to a T, and I would curdle every single one I made that way.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I always go Coke and then or milk then Coke. And I don't know, I feel like it doesn't matter. Um you just get a better mix, like it just mixes. It feels like it mixes better at the end of
Yeah.
it.
And then my biggest thing was whenever I'd curdle them, I wouldn't pour them down the sink. I would not get rid of them.
Oh
Well, I'd
no.
get rid of them, but just not down the sink.
Oh
I
no.
I would stir them so they were no longer curdled and it was all mixed, and then I would just chug them.
Just slam them
I
in.
made, I made paralyzers for all 5 of us one night. I curdled all 5 of them.
Oh fuck.
So I had to mix like chug 5 back-to-back paralyzers, and then my roommate decided, yeah, you're fired.
Yeah,
I'm
get out of the
making them
kitchen.
now.
You're done.
And then when I would make paralyzers and I'd make them my way and I wouldn't curdle them, they wouldn't drink them because I made them backwards. I was like, you know
What does
what?
it
Fuck
matter?
you,
A fucking
roommate.
drink is a drink.
That's right. You can tell my roommates that.
Yeah, fucking drink's a drink, boys.
Yeah.
Speaking of a drink's a drink, um, what are your thoughts on Shell versus Half Moon KD?
I don't know the last time I had the shell stuff, like the Annies or whatever it is with the rabbit
Yeah.
on the front.
Yeah.
I normally just get like the half moons. It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
Just
So
because that's easier to find. I could buy it in bulk.
I when I was in second year, I found like those little just single cups
Yeah.
of KD. You just make them in the microwave. But I found them with the shell type. And I will, till the day I die, debate that shell pasta and macaroni and cheese is by far better. Just because, based solely on nothing else other than the fact that you get sauce inside the noodle and you take a bite, and it's what the fucking heavens are made of.
Oh, absolutely it is. You get so much more sauce. Like I'm indifferent. I'll eat either of them.
Oh
Mainly,
yeah.
I'm not a super picky eater. I don't like asparagus. I don't like Brussels sprouts. I've tried.
Yeah.
Believe me, I have tried. It's just those I can't do those two.
Yeah.
And mushrooms. I don't care for mushrooms. But like when it comes to the shape of my pasta, I don't really care.
Pasta is pasta.
Yeah, it all tastes the same to me. It's the
Yeah.
sauce that makes or breaks it.
That's right. Okay, I feel like you'll have a good one of these just because you spent as much time in small towns as I have. Um, do you have any really good dive bar or like really shitty bar experiences?
No, because my thing is when I go out, I just get pickled and I don't really know what's going on. Um, I I couldn't tell you any like really bad nights that I
Yeah.
had. I'm sure my roommates could.
Yeah.
I don't think that I could. I have a tendency to just have fun
Yeah.
whatever bar I'm at. I don't really care. Like we could be at oh Christ, I don't know. We could be at Ranchman's. I hate Cowboys. I hate big clubs.
I've never been to
Cowboys,
Cowboys.
you're not missing out. Cowboys and Knox, I hate them.
Yeah.
I don't like crowds.
Yeah.
But then again, I loved going to the Long Branch in Saskatoon because it was me and 500 of my closest friends
Yeah.
just getting pickled on a Thursday night for egg night, right? And
Yeah.
a little bit different that way.
Have you been to oh, for cock's sake. It's a
Where's it at?
fucking Western bar in Edmonton on White Ave.
I've never been to a bar in Edmonton.
So, oh, for fuck's sake.
Cactus Coulee, Coulee Corral. I don't remember. It's got Coulee in it somewhere, I think. Or maybe it's
not the one that I'm thinking of. Fuck, give me a sec here. I'm Googling this shit. Cook County Saloon.
Cook County, that's what it was. Cook County. I've never been to Cook County, but because they have bar none in Edmonton at the U of A every year, right?
Yeah.
At the U of S, like there'd be a bunch of people, they'd jump in a couple of vehicles and they'd go to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Well, my one buddy, he was at Cook County Saloon, and I think it was New Year's, and he had to shit so bad, and he was like, no, I am not going in here. So he went to like the nearest hotel and went to use their bathroom. No, you're not allowed unless you have a room. So he bought a hotel room just to take a shit in
Wow.
Edmonton on New Year's Eve.
Mad respect. Well, I will extend the invite. Next time you're down this way, when everything opens back up, I will take you with my buddies from Edmonton to Cook County because it's a wild time. It's what a lot of city Western bars I think should strive to be because it's big, but it's not huge. You've got a dance floor that's not like so big that there's 800 people. There's maybe like between 50 and 100 people, and that is like max you can get down there. All they play is country music, whether that's fucking Garth Brooks or Brooks and Dunn or new shit. Then they've got a couple pool tables. They've got a fucking mechanical bull, and it's all like it's kind of partitioned off. So wherever you are, it's not just like one big open room. It's a bunch of smaller rooms, and there are fucking beer carts everywhere. There were a lot of wild times at Cook County Saloon, but I feel like that's probably a story for another day. One story that popped up, which into my mind, which is why I wanted to talk about that. You've been to the Waldorf, right?
I'm not sure if I'm happy or ashamed to say that I grew up around Drumheller and never have stepped
Really?
foot outside of the Waldorf.
Wow.
I've heard
So
that the only glasses you should drink out of at the Waldorf is your glass bottle.
yeah, you the only thing you get at the Waldorf, actually I took my two buddies from Nate were down a month ago, and we'd talked, they'd heard stories about the Waldorf, so we took them there, and I was like, okay, you're gonna get a bottle of beer. Don't sit in the chairs that look very comfy, because there's an unhealthy amount of piss and shit and other bodily fluids in there that you do not want anywhere near you. And don't really talk to anybody. Just hang out with me. We'll do our thing. So I remember it was on my 18th birthday. We started at Vintage. It would have been around 5:30 in the evening, and like all the guys I work with were there. Mom, dad, family, friends. We took up the whole side of Vintage where the booths are. That was just us. And so I'm bouncing around people to people, talking, whatever. And I drank a shit ton of shots. I don't know how many shots, a number of shots that probably would kill an average man. My friends were ordering, they would just go up to the bar and they would just start pointing at liquors and getting them mixed into a shot. Like I think I had one that was like Tarantula, Fireball, Peach Schnapps, and Jack Daniels, like just the grossest shit. And I couldn't even taste it anymore. It was just alcohol and it was flowing smooth.
Pretty damn good, boys.
So we walk out of there. It was me, my buddy Josh, my buddy Joel, and then I think it was Nick and Ryan. And we're bar hopping now. So what's the next stop from Vintage? It's the fucking Waldorf. So we walk in there. I go up. We're just by the bar, and I look, and I'm like, "Where's the fucking pisser?" All right, it's over there. So I go, shake the piss out of Hercules, come back up to the bar, and the lady behind the bar is like, "Do you throw up in there?" And I'm like, "No, I took a piss." And she's like, "Give me your ID." So, I mean, I'm quite intoxicated. So I fumble my wallet out of my pocket and I grab my ID and I hand it to her, and I'm like, "It is my 18th birthday." And she looks and she's like, "I'll give you a glass of water and then get the fuck out of my bar." I got a glass of water and I took a step and I kind of stumbled. And then I got picked up under my two arms of my buddies, and they drug me out on my toes. And as we're going out, there was a bald lady with no teeth and a handkerchief on her head that was trying to solicit me to go to her room upstairs. And we went out, went to neighbors, continued drinking. But that's like my crowning achievement, because everybody that I've ever told that story to has such a hard time believing that I got kicked out and refused service at the Waldorf. Well, they will literally serve you until you piss your pants, pass out, and then when we wake up, they'll give you more. That is like my crowning jewel. If nothing else good in my life ever happens, I will die happy knowing that I got refused service at the Waldorf.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I want to get a t-shirt made that said I got kicked out and refused service at the Waldorf, and I will wear the shit out of that.
You need to get 7 of them.
Yes, one for every day of the week.
Different color too.
That's right. But that's mine. Have you ever bumped into a celebrity, whether that's A-list, B-list, Z-list, and just had a super random experience?
Saskatoon.
Okay.
Todd Bertuzzi and Ray Bork.
Really?
Yep. We were at Crazy Cactus in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And it was my roommate's birthday. I don't remember how it all went down. Like, got in and it was his 19th birthday and he was well on his way and went up to Bertuzzi and you're Todd Bertuzzi. Can we get a picture together?
Yeah.
And he puts his fist up to my roommate and his fist is like two of mine.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to knock you the fuck out, kid.
Yeah.
Just straight faced. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. And they took a picture together.
That's crazy.
It was awesome. Ray Bork, he was tired of everyone, right? Like everyone kind of knew he was a big deal. And he was kind of like just kind of down with everyone. Wasn't signing any more autographs or anything, but we didn't care. We were in the same bar as fucking Ray Bork and Todd Bertuzzi.
That's crazy.
That's
actually awesome.
Yeah, he was because it was one of those holy shit.
Yeah.
Look who that is.
Yeah. Wow.
No, honestly, stand-up guys. They were awesome through and through, and I can't blame them for not wanting to like keep visiting with a bunch of random people and signing autographs and telling stories. Like they've got their own fucking lives.
There's a time and a place for it.
Absolutely. And they're just out there. They were at a charity hockey tournament, I think, and they were just unwinding. They were having fun. And people should have just left them alone in all reality, but they were good sports.
Yeah, no, exactly. I remember, I can't even tell you what year it was. Cord Blund was playing like an intermission. Sorry?
When he played the amphitheater?
No, this was long before that. Like I was under the age of 10.
Oh.
So he was playing in Rosebud. And he was like the intermission act for Stuart McLean and the Vinyl Cafe, which was a CBC show. And they were recording out there. So obviously we went, we were, Stuart was kind of like a family friend to us. And I remember after the show, or was it after the show or intermission or whatever it was, Cord Blund was signing autographs in like the foyer at the theater in Rosebud. Mm-hmm. So I waited in line. Guy in front of me gets his shit signed and he wants a picture with Corb. So he like turns to like take a picture and Cord Blund stands up and like goes to put his arm around him and fucking piss rockets a beer at me and just covered me in beer. And that is like my crowning achievement. Like when I was a child, I got 2 free signed CDs out of Cord Blund. I got them. They're just sitting on my desk over here. Because Cord Blund piss rocketed a beer at me.
Cord Blund is a man that I would love to sit down with a bottle of rye.
I 100% agree.
I think the stories that man would have to tell.
Oh yeah, yeah,
real.
Yeah, like I went down to Under the Big Sky, the music festival between Kalispell and Whitefish in 2019. And the only reason that I went is because Cord Blund was playing. And I saw like where Cord Blund played, because there was 2 stages. The stage that Cord Blund played, they had a rodeo going on behind him, not like a full-fledged, but like an amateur rodeo going on right next to the stage. It was in front of the mountains, and there was a fucking creek running in front of the stage. And to see him there, like just playing music with the Hurtin' Albertans was like, bar none, one of the greatest concert experiences I've ever had.
That would have been wicked. Was 2020 was supposed to be one hell of a lineup for that show.
I got the notification popped up like on my memories when they announced it this year, and I was like, oh my god, because it was like, I think Sturgill Simpson and Tyler Childers and fuck, who else was playing? Saskatchewan boy. Sorry?
Oh, Coulter Wall,
yeah. I think Charlie Crockett was playing.
I don't remember. Was Corb going back for that one?
Yeah. He was one of like the undercards, and it was just like, man, that would have been such, not only just a fucking show, but a fucking party. Like that was I'm not a huge music festival person, but
Mhm.
I would go back every year just to go see that festival. They got 2 stages that run. It's just like literally it's on this beautiful ranch, and they've got a fucking like paved walkway between the stages. They do fucking trail rides. They got a fucking rodeo. I think it'd be a totally different experience now going down, being of age that I can actually have a beer there.
Yeah.
Before I definitely could have got a beer, but I was 19 and I still had to drive back. So it wasn't worth getting pulled over in the States underage driving under the influence.
Well, it's just
So
you could just pay your ticket on the side of the road with your credit card and you're good to go.
yeah, I was afraid that I was gonna get like murked or something. So I was like, I don't want to do this. I if I have to phone my parents and be like, hey, I'm in jail in Kalispell. Can you come post bail, please?
I think they might have told you where to go and how to get there.
Yeah, I don't think Fred and Kathy would have been too impressed with me had that happened.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That would have one hell of a story you would have had,
Oh
but
yeah, no, for sure. It would have been a good one, but I don't think it would have the story might not have been worth it.
I don't think so.
No. But I'm hoping next year things will get mildly back to normal. And I want to get a group of people and then go down because it's like I think it's on a long weekend too.
Think it's like
So
all long.
yeah. So it's perfect time. You know, you can do the drive there and back in a day.
Mhm.
So and it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday festival. So I think it'd be gold just to get a group of people down and just go and just fucking go hard.
Oh, I think it'd be unreal.
Yeah. So keep tuned for that because maybe next year me and Jaden will do one down there.
Be one hell of a show.
Yeah, I only have one more like question for you, Jaden.
All
So
right.
this comes I don't know where this came from. I think this happened over September long when I was fucking pissed drunk. Uh Probably just before I passed out and fell asleep on the side of a hill. Um And I don't mean like passed out. I don't mean like drunk passed out. I mean like curled up in a ball on the side of the hill and just went to sleep. Uh, so
Past bedtime.
that's right. It was very late. It was like 3:30 in the morning, and I was tired and cold. Um, so one thing that comes up on here a lot with everybody is ghost stories and stuff like that, ghosts, and then talking about other supernatural shit such as Sasquatch. But one thing that there's a lot of places that are haunted. But do you think that a lot of these places, people's personal experiences, whether that be ghost story or just that eerie feeling, do you think a lot of that is a placebo because a place is perceived as haunted, and it just gives you that premonition that, oh fuck, that chair creak, that's a ghost, and then obviously from there everything roller coasters into, I got fucking, you know, touched on the ass by a ghost sort of deal.
I do think that like the supernatural stuff exists,
Yep.
but I also do think that a lot of it is placebo.
Yeah.
Like if you get it into your head that, oh, this place is haunted, this place is whatever, like you're gonna be a lot more, you're gonna be in your own head about it, right? Like
Yeah.
if like say, oh no, the house I'm living in is haunted, like unless you just, I don't know, you get in your own head about it. And the best way I think to deal with it is if you're in a haunted place, make friends with the ghost. Christ,
Oh
then you
yeah,
got someone looking out for you.
that's right. You know, I mean, I worked in the theater, as you know, in
Yep.
town. I think that was talked about on one of the prior podcasts that I don't think is up anymore. Um, and I mean, I had experiences, and there are definitely some like looking back, and it's like, yeah, you know what? I think my mind definitely blew that out of proportion, and I don't think it was as uh, much of a ghost as it was probably just a coincidence or my mind playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
But then there are other things that happen, and there's no way that I can logically start to understand how something like that happens. I remember, so when I was like managing the place like 3 or 4 nights a week, one of the young gals that was working there, she comes up. I think it was a Friday night or whatever it was. So I'm in the office and she comes in and she's like, "Hey, you know, like, is there any chance I might be able to leave a little early tonight? You know, my friends are having a party and I want to be able to catch a ride." Ah, fuck. There's nobody here. It's like maybe 25, 30 people. I'm like, I can fucking clean this shit up. Get out, go have fun, enjoy your life, whatever. So she leaves, movie's over, and everybody leaves. You know, last person walks out. I close the door, and it was just like, oh fuck, I'm fucking alone in here now. So I remember going through, and the first thing you do when you clean the theater is you go through and you pick up all the popcorn bags, the candy wrappers, the drink cups, and you push all the chairs up. Because as Jaden knows, but as you guys might not know, the chairs in drama aren't the kind that like fold down. They like slide forward like that. And so you push those back up, right? So that everything is up for when the people come in the next day. And I remember doing all that, cleaning it, going back, locking the doors. And I remember being upstairs, shutting off the projector, and I was hit the lights to turn them down. And I heard ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. And I'm like, that's the fucking chairs going down. And I was like, no, no, no. And I'm like, so I was fucking shitting my pants up there. And I heard another ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. And I'm like, so I'm like, is any like, who's in here? Nothing.
Just nothing, eh?
And I'm like, okay, well, if there was somebody in here, like you'd hear footsteps. It's concrete floor all the way to the carpet. Like you would hear something.
You
There's
can't get away with
nothing.
it
Yeah.
in there.
So I like look over and there's just nothing. All you can see is the basically the dim lights of the screen and the big curtains, and the one curtain is kind of like fluttering a little bit. And I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my fucking life. I ran from the corner out down the stairs. Like I was like flying down the stairs. Like I'm like lifting myself up and taking like 4 or 5 stairs at a time. Get down to the bottom. And now I have to run through the hallway beside the auditorium to get to the office. I fucking run into the office, grab my shit, fucking run out the door, fucking slam the door behind me, get in my car, start my car, drive away, phone the bosses. I'm like, I'm fucking out. I'm like, you guys have to go fucking figure out what's going on in there because there's a fucking ghost. He's gonna kill me. And they went back in, and sure as shit, there was like 7 or 8 of the seats that were down, and back doors were locked. All the lights were off except for the light in the basement where we wash, which I know was off because I shut it off when I was done cleaning bathrooms.
Yeah.
So something was going on in there. I had enough of it. I was out. And but at the same time, there's also other experiences. I mean, you know, lights being on next time I go in. Fuck. At that point, you can chalk that down to human error. It's very possible that myself or one of the other people forgot to shut them off. But that one sticks out in my mind, and I'm just like, fuck it. I have a hard time going back in there.
I probably would have needed some of that toilet paper that's rolled the wrong way if I did deal with that.
Oh, fuck those guys, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like that kind of really just segued everything back into a good spot. I know it's getting late. So once again, thank you to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Monotony, but Mostly Madness. Thank you to Jaden for joining me. There's some big things coming to the channel. I'm currently working on a really schnazzy intro. If I have it done, you guys will have seen it before this episode. So keep an eye. As you can see here, we got a record there. That's Waiting on a Muse by Joe Vickers. He's a guy from town. Jaden probably knows Joe or knows of Joe.
I said Joe's name a few times when I worked at the radio station there on the late night show with all the local music. I remember.
So Joe's a great guy. Also someone that I would like to I would say I'd consider a friend. Hopefully once harvest is done next month or so, Joe's going to hop on. So make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be pretty interesting. He's done touring in Europe. Just a all around great guy. Great music. I'm going to try to figure out a way to drop a link to either his Spotify or Spotify, some way down in the bottom so you guys can give him a listen. Definitely great tunes, great guy. So check that out. So once again, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Monotony, but mostly madness. Tune in next time for more monotony and more madness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in next time. Know if I didn't have a lot of it written down. Jesus Christ, you need to simmer down.